afternoon. Remember yesterday I told you that I had a humongous pirate ship in my backyard, this puzzle that is laying around my backyard that's getting built. I think I'm going to show you guys the puzzle to start off, just because this is freaking crazy. My fence is down between my daughter's house and my house because we had to move stuff, but check this out. Look at this massive project. This is a pirate ship. And there's the plank. Everything is underway. It's kind of crazy, but the pirate ship is definitely in process. Okay, let me see if I can get this back to where I want it to be. Okay, so Mr. Fix-It can fix it. Yeah, remember that? I don't remember what kid's tale that is. I just remember Mr. Fix-It. I used to read that book to my older kids when they were little. I probably have it somewhere around the house. I should go find it and read it to everybody. But Mr. Fix-It can fix it. And all this week I've been talking about orgasm. I've been talking about female sexuality. I've been talking about people not messaging me right now. I've been talking about, the importance of female sexuality and all of these relationship challenges that are definitely coming to a head around a lot of households with quarantine being in place. I am a firm believer that this whole isolation process that we are underway is going to make or break relationships. And hey, that's good for my business, but it's not good for relationship in a lot of ways. We have a lot of things that are taking place in the household right now that are not normally discussed or not normally dealt with because people are off living their lives and busy and can be distracted from the actual issues that rise up in couplehood and relationships. So my focus this week is definitely on female sexuality. I've had a few people message me and say, hey Kendall, why are you talking about all this female sexuality? What about us dudes? What about us? What if the woman is closed down? What if the woman isn't vocalizing? What if the woman isn't trying? What if the woman's not growing and the man is growing and she's not doing her part? What about that? Well, we'll get there, okay? This week's focus is on female sexuality and on what men are doing to cause a separation in a relationship and what needs to really take place to get women out there sexually healthy again. And if you want a strong relationship with your woman, if you think that the sex has nothing to do with it, well, think again, because you know what, if you weren't getting sex, or maybe as a guy you're not getting sex, then you know what that does. I just asked my guy the other day, I was talking to him about this, and I asked him, I said, what does blue balls feel like? And he told me, he's like, well, it's achy and it hurts. And I said, what does it do to you as a man emotionally? And he said, well, I'm more irritable, can't tolerate as much, more frustration, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, well, imagine that for 90 days as a woman, or imagine that for a year as a woman, or imagine that for years as a woman. I have worked with women that have not had an orgasm for like 20 years. I was in a marriage at one point in time where I went probably a solid 10 years without a sufficient orgasm. Now, what I mean by sufficient orgasm is something that's not just the quick release, okay? So the quick release is what a guy might refer to as that quickie, but it's not that depth, there's nothing to it. For us women, that means clitoral orgasm. Clitoral orgasm is kind of like the tip of the iceberg of orgasm. It is just letting out some pressure. That's all it's doing. It's not really solving anything. It's not really dropping down the chemicals and the hormones needed. It's not building connection. It's not building intimacy. It's just taking the edge off so that the volcano doesn't erupt. Because since we're focused on female sexuality, when a woman doesn't have an orgasm, she starts to experience tons and tons of emotional disarray. Like I spoke of yesterday, I went through all these different signs as to what happens to a woman when she hasn't had an orgasm for 3 months. And I listed 29 different things that a woman can start to experience after just 3 months of not having a sufficient orgasm. Okay, now if that continues on, it becomes a volcano nature thing where it's just building and building and building. Now you can take that pressure off just a little bit, let some of the steam out, and you can edge yourself through another month or two, right? But does that mean that she's really being taken care of? Does that really mean that she's feeling any love, any depth, that she's getting what she needs? No. No, I also refer to this as kind of like, imagine that you have been starved for, a month straight. You've not had any food, and then somebody walks through with a really juicy, great hamburger, and you just get the smell of it, and you're like, oh, that smells good. I want that. And they go, oh, you like this? You want this? You can't have it. You can't have it. This is mine. This is mine. And this is what happens in our sex over and over again. Between masculine and feminine is that the guy is eating the burger and the woman is getting a whiff of the burger. And the guy thinks that she's being provided for. The guy thinks that she's being taken care of. The guy thinks that the relationship's just fine. It's all good. That was amazing. Wasn't that burger amazing? Well, I don't know what the burger tasted like because I didn't get a bite of the burger. So that right there starts to cause bitterness, resentment, frustration, anxiety in a relationship. All this different stuff starts to come up, and the woman distances herself. Today I wrote an article talking about, your ignorance in the bedroom does not give you permission to rape your woman's body, mind, or soul. And that is what ends up happening in these situations, is that the more the guy talks about his great burger and she's only getting a whiff of the burger, she's getting raped physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually in that moment, because she's not getting anything. So she's completely depleting herself so that he can eat a burger, and she starves. He eats, she starves. He eats, she starves. He says, I love you. You're the world to me. Everything's the world to me. This is the greatest, bestest, blah, 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 blah. And she's going, if I really mattered, if I really, truly mattered, then you'd show up right here. Then you'd actually care. Then you'd actually allow me to eat a burger too. You would allow me to feed with you instead of going, I love my burger. You get to breathe in the scent of it. So, where are we going with here? This is a Mr. Fix-It problem, right? You could say. Now we're taking onto account that we're talking about a relationship that is really good in other areas, okay? Not all relationships are going to be like this. There's a lot of relationships that my advice right now is not going to help, okay? So I want to put that out there. There's plenty, and I'm going to say probably about 70% of relationships, this probably is not going to help. But if you are in the 30% that you love your partner, and the relationship has all this beauty in it, and there's amazing stuff going on, and you want to make it work, okay? You want to make it work. Both parties want to make it work. Key ingredients that both parties have to be part of this. They both have to want to make it work. So both parties want to make it work. Both people love each other. Both people are willing to make changes, to commit to different things, and they're willing to really step in on this, okay? You're talking about the female-masculine relationship where the woman can speak what's going on, where she is talking a little bit, or at least there can have conversations without there being massive uproar. We're talking about the relationship, this 30% relationship is also the guy who can check his freaking ego, who's not going to, completely pull away his love. He's not going to get angry and bitter and resentful at her truth sharing. He's not going to go into a pity party of, oh, that hurts my feelings because you're admitting your truth right now. He's not going to take offense to that. He's not going to become overly needy, obsessive, jealous, or aggressive in any fashion. Okay, so this is why 70% of the people just got knocked out of the way, because this does not happen. The majority of people are going to start to have a lot of resentment, bitterness, retract their love, start to play a blame game here, make up excuses, give tons of reasons and excuses. All right, the name of this game right here is there's either reasons or results. Okay, like one of my favorite self-growth people says, Les Brown, reasons or results. That's all you got. Anything else doesn't much matter. If you're giving reasons, then that's just making excuses. That means that you don't really want to apply yourself. That means that you're not really getting it. The only thing that matters is the results. So that means you step the fuck in and you get the results that you're looking for. So this is where masculine leadership gets to come in. You get to step into that divine masculine role, and you actually get to do what guys do best, go after a target and get successful at it. Like, that's the key here. You've got to be successful at this target. This is the hunt that you're after, and it's her orgasm. It's her pleasure, because if you actually take her there, she's going to be able to take you to deeper levels. She's going to be able to handle so much more in her world, because when you deplete a woman orgasmically, what ends up happening is, yes, it comes about with, first off, you get some irritable moodiness. You might get a little bit of retraction from her. You might find her edgy. Her period might be off. She may, gain a little bit of weight. She may suffer some physical issues. She may retract in different ways. All of that stuff's going to come up. But what else happens, and I have witnessed this myself. I was actually just talking to another woman about this. But what also happens is that then, like the home life will start to change. You'll notice that she'll be less patient with the children, less patient with you. She's gonna all of a sudden become more scattered in the house. There's not gonna be as much going on. She won't have the energy that she normally has. She's not gonna have the playfulness. She's not gonna want to go and do the adventures. You're not gonna be able to entice her into different things. She's gonna start to retract from wanting to go on dates, from wanting to even spend time, because she's not trusting that situation. Because all of this attention that you might give out here is all just nothing but words. That's all it is. She wants the actual evidence. She wants the proof, okay? So proof is in the pudding. This is where reasons are results. You can go, yeah, but I don't have time for, yeah, well, don't want to hear about the lack of time, okay? This is get in there and get the work done, okay? So she's going to start to retract in different ways. She's going to start to deny time spent. She's going to start to distance hand holding. She's going to start to distance kissing. She's going to start to, she might all of a sudden, start changing up her wardrobe even. She might change her looks. She may change all these different things. Then you're going to start to see a repercussion of this. The ripple effect of this is that it will implement, if she works outside the home, it's going to start to implement into her work environment. She's going to start really feeling, as you're going to hear a lot of just nastiness about what she's doing with work. It's going to become more stressful. She's going to be filled with more anxiety. She's going to be more anxious about work, more frustrated. Might cause upheaval at work. Unfortunately, that's also going to cause different issues with financial stuff going on, okay? Women who are not orgasmic are trying to figure out how to get fed in other ways. So they're going to spend more money, they're going to eat more food, they're going to watch more TV, they're going to do all these different things because they're just trying to get fed. They're trying to fill themselves up any which way they possibly can, except all these other ways are not what they're really looking for. What they're needing is the chemical drop down. They're needing that connection. They're needing the time spent. If they don't get it, well, they don't get it. Now, here's the sad truth. I'm going to just wake everybody up too, if you're not already on board with this. Guess what else happens in these situations? So that 30% of people out there, your relationships, they're dynamic. You want to work on it. You're willing to get in. You're willing to do the work. Okay, and I'm going to give you the tools for your toolbox here in just a second. But this all is part of it, right? So if you don't pick up these damn tools and do them well with importance, here's the result. The result is a few different things, but it all ends unfortunately the same way. The result ends in, number one, she is impacted by a whole bunch of trauma, okay? So now she's counting in her head all of this marital rape that has taken place. Chances are, if she's an average woman, which 60 to 65% of women have experienced rape of some nature or some sexual trauma in the past. Every time that this is occurring, it is re-triggering that trauma back there, and it's pulling it forward for her. So now she's dealing with all this old trauma. She's working on all this kind of stuff right here, and now all she's needing is just to have this penetration of your presence, and time, okay? So that occurs, that causes distancing. So in that distancing, she believes that she can't trust you. You're not able to hold her heart. You're not able to actually, you're not worthy of her love because you can't hold her heart. So now she's going, I can't trust him. I can't trust him because he didn't listen to me. If he's not going to listen to me, but he keeps telling me this and he keeps doing that, he's not trustworthy. So now your trustworthiness as a man goes crushing down, just explode, okay? There you go. Hard to get back the trust because it's given on the front side. It has to be earned at this point. So now the trust is depleted tremendously. So the more that happens, that trust gets depleted. And then what happens? More separation, more shutdown. She's holding on to the trauma, more shutdown. Inevitably, one party, if not both, one party steps out of the situation. Now, maybe they don't step out fully of the relationship. Two people can be together, and it happens all the time. People are together and one person goes and has an affair. Well, it tends up to happen here, because if the woman shuts down sexually, then a lot of guys are going to go ahead and step out, and they're going to find their sex someplace else, all the while blaming the woman, saying, oh, it was her health. Oh, she just wants sex she thinks that sex is just about having kids. Oh, it was turned on at the beginning, but I don't know what happened here, blah, 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 blah. She says it hurts. He makes excuses about all these different things. So he goes and he finds his out there, and she shuts down and she fully retracts. And a woman, here's the thing about a woman. If we haven't had an orgasm for a while, and if we're not having good sex for a while, we can pretty much go a lifetime without it. Like, if once we're kind of like to a point where like, whatever. It's going to take a really freaking good deep orgasm to get her to want you again, to get her to lean into it and actually go there. Because the longer a woman goes without it, the more she can go without it, okay? We can literally all turn into nuns and be okay with it and just carry on. We're going to be painting pictures, we're going to be building buildings, we're going to be raising our kids and planting flowers and writing books and doing all this stuff, because that will be our creative nature, and we'll get it out that way instead of through sex. We'll find other ways to connect. We'll go and lean on our girlfriends and our kids and our sisters and community and all of that stuff. We will make space for all of that and take the space away from our significant other, okay? So that was what happens. The other version of it is that, guess what? A lot of women cheat. A lot of women cheat. I mean, that's why there's these companies out there, they make bank on people cheating. So a woman will go after a period of time, if she then something ignites her, something gets her to going. So all it really takes, and I'll share a personal story here, what opened the gateway to my affair when I was married was, in truth, there was a man. I don't know his name. I never stopped to get his name. I didn't talk to him. He talked to me. I was walking into a bank one day up in Washington, and I walked into the bank to deposit money, and I had not had a good orgasm for probably about 5 years. I hated my relationship. I hated myself. I was in total utter misery and depression, and just getting through the day and doing what I could do for myself and my children. And I just thought that that's just motherhood. That's what I hacked it up to be. That's just motherhood. And I walked in to the bank, and this man holds the door open for me, and he looks at me, and he commanded, so his energy was so commanding that I had to look at him in the eye, which was something that I didn't do back then at all. Did not look people in the eye. And he commanded me so much with his energy that I looked him in the eye. He smiled at me. He held the door open, and as I passed, he said, "You smell really nice," or "You smell really good," something like that. And then with that statement, I looked at him, I realized this is a really good looking guy. I had butterflies in my stomach, the first feeling of invigorating energy for years. And those butterflies turned into turn on. And for the first moment in all these years, I felt turned on for a second. And I looked at him, and I was hungry in that moment. In that moment, all the hunger came up in me. And I was like, whew. And I remember getting flushed and all this different kind of stuff. And I was like, oh my God. Still remember that man today because of the impact he had. Unfortunately, this man ignited my hunger, okay? All he did was hold a door open. All he did was say that I smelled good. I still wear that perfume today for the most part. It's one of my favorite perfumes. He probably has a lot to do with it, you know? And what? From there, I went back out to the car to my husband, who wasn't providing me with anything, who told me that he loved me for the world, who told me all this great stuff, but it meant nothing, absolutely nothing. And what I found myself doing was having an affair with a best friend. That's what I did. I went and I had an affair with a best friend, okay? I turned around from that situation, found myself in bed with my best friend, my best friend couple. It was a nasty, nasty situation. Stupid young girl that I was. But the thing is that scenario happens over and over again. And the only thing that caused that to happen was because I was starving. And then I forgot how hungry I was. I got over my hunger pains, and I pushed them down so much that I didn't feel them anymore. I numbed them out. I numbed my sex out. I numbed my feelings out. I numbed everything out. until this man said this thing to me and held the door open and commanded my energy just enough. And then all of a sudden, a hunger that I had no idea that I had came to me. And I was like, I am starving. And then it didn't matter. I was going out at all cost to get fed. Okay? At all cost, I was going to get fed. And then I got fed a little bit. And that brought me up. And then a whole nother story takes place there, which is another tale. But the whole tale is that this kind of stuff happens. If you wonder why things happen the way they do, why breakups happen, why is your woman going distant, why is this happening, why is that happening, why did she cheat on me? That's what I love, because I just dealt with this just in a coaching call the other day. Why did my wife cheat on me? I don't understand it. You know, like, I'm providing financially, I'm here, I'm all this stuff, and I'm like, she hasn't had an orgasm for 3 years. That's why she cheated on you, and she got hungry. Like, there you go. Feed your woman, and she will stay with you forever. Unless you're a total asshole, then, well, don't be an asshole. But this right here is definitely one of those things. So, Mr. Fix-It. Let's say that you're in that 30% of guys that's going to check your ego, that's going to pay attention, that wants to make it work, that wants to be present, that really does love your woman and just has been a little childish in this department and not really aware. Not really truly present with her, not fully understanding the importance of orgasm, which I don't really understand, guys. I really don't, because men make such a big deal out of their orgasm, but you make very little out of a woman's orgasm. And it's silly. But Mr. Fix-It, here are some things that you can do to make sure that this does not occur in your relationship. And since you have isolation period of time right now with COVID-19, this is the perfect time to, like, get it on with your woman and actually make this count, okay? Number one, listen to your woman. If you are listening to your woman, actually be freaking present with your woman. Don't be sitting and looking on your phone, scrolling through Facebook, listening to music, thinking about other things, thinking about sex even. No, be present with her. Hear her words. Number two, check your ego. Definitely check your ego. What do I mean by check your ego? Well, she's going to say some things that are going to feel like some daggers into your heart and into your balls, okay? It's going to feel like she's punching your gut, and she's going to punch it really, really freaking hard, because what she has to say is painful, because she's in tremendous pain. And it's going to hurt to hear what she has to say, that you haven't been pleasing her, that it's been this, that it's been that you've been clueless, that she feels raped, that she feels this, she feels that. Yes, those harsh words are going to come out, and it is going to feel like she is just really after you. And you're going to want to attack. You're going to want to make excuses. You're going to want to hide. You're going to want to get upset. You're going to want to go into, why is she attacking me? That's not what I mean. All of that kind of stuff. This is where you check your ego. This is where you hit the pause button. If you want to really, truly do your relationship a big favor here, this is where you just hold that space and let her vent it out to you. Because if she vents it out to you, she's giving you an opportunity. If she doesn't vent it out to you, you can kiss your relationship goodbye, pretty much. A woman who's not venting it out, a woman who's not coming to you, is a woman who's done with the relationship. I can tell you that. I've done it a couple times myself, and that's how we deal with it. We just get done, we stop talking about it. And even if we might spend a couple years with our man after that fact, we are then in a process of how we get out of the relationship, plotting and scheming our way out of it, setting up everything that we need so that we can adjust without too much turbulence. Okay, so we will take the time to do that, and we will just stop talking about what we need or from you at all. Okay, so check your ego, listen to her, catch yourself when you're starting to go into emotion. Do not make excuses on this. Okay, don't make excuses on it. This is not a point where you're going, okay, here's my reasons, here's my excuses. No, realize that coming to her with words and attention in other ways is not like, do not come into this situation or leave this conversation that you have with her or listening ever that you have with her by coming in like a whipped puppy dog. Because if you come back to it like a whipped puppy dog, you are not standing in a confident space. I know that you might not be confident in this moment after having a conversation with your own, but you need to come in with the most confidence that you possibly can. Coming in like a whipped puppy dog is not going to do you any favors. A woman's not going to respect a man that is a whipped puppy dog, okay? That's not what we want. We want to be heard, and we want to see results. That's it. That's it. Nothing else. Heard, results. Heard, results. In order to be heard, though, the man has to listen. The man has to actually want to do. The man actually has to apply what he learns, what he hears, without the reasons, without the whip puppy dog. Okay? So don't do those two things. Other thing, slow down in the bedroom. Slow down, slow down, slow down. Pay attention there. Get your mind off of that tip of your cock, off of the feeling. Get your mind off of the quickness of it. Stop trying to just change things up all the time. This is not, I can tell you what, simple sex skill here. If you're just doing this, you're not getting her anywhere, okay? This is nothing, absolutely nothing, okay? Washing hands has more feeling than this right here, okay? So this means that you actually have to bring your consciousness down into your genitals, that you have to get present with her. Don't pay attention to this pretty thing on your wife's or girlfriend's face, okay? This thing is going to lie to you, okay? The body's not going to lie to you. The body, her breathing, the way her breathing changes, the tightness and muscle contraction that she has. These are the things, if she gets wet or not. If she's not wet, she's not turned on, okay? Wetness is a key sign. If a woman's not wet, she's not turned on, unless she's dehydrated, and which means that she needs some water, okay? So, if she's hydrated and she's not wet, then she's not turned on. Also, ask for permission on doing things. I know that might sound silly, but I can tell you what. The assumed permission is a dangerous space to be in, especially in this situation, okay? So when you are venturing into the land of with a woman that is not having orgasm, that is really depleted in this, she's in the deficit here, okay? Like billion-dollar deficit of orgasm. If she is experiencing that, then realize that just assuming permission is definitely going way over boundaries that you don't want to cross. Okay, because that's some stuff that gets into some edgy waters that you do not want to go there, okay? Whatever number I'm on. So, always ask for permission. Slow down. Don't just do this. It's not about just the penetration, okay? If you're just doing penetration, realize that women need multiple things. You need to start treating a woman's body as her whole vulva, as her whole pussy, okay? So that means don't forget about the breasts. Don't forget about her hands. Don't forget about a little bit of hair pulling if that's what she likes. Don't forget about like some touching of the hips, some touching of the legs. Don't forget about her clitoris when you're penetrating her, okay? Guys do this thing. They either focus on, you guys can only focus on one thing, I think. But that's not true because I've had plenty of lovers that do plenty different. You want to focus on G-spots and clitoris, okay? If you really want, there's the quick solution. You want to give her a good deep orgasm combined? Well, then focus on those two things together with slowing down, with attention, with presence, with listening, okay? What else? I think that pretty much covers it. Other than that, read my article from today. Read the article from today. I've got a whole list of things in there that I'm not going through, but I did do a Mr. Fix-It list on that as well, so look for that on my page. You know, this topic, and I will get to the point next week, I'm going to be bashing women around a little bit because us ladies are very, very guilty of enabling our men, and that is massively bad on our part, because as women we do enable our guys because we don't vocalize enough, because we don't share, because we have all the shame, and a lot of women aren't doing the work on themselves. There's a lot of women who are not doing their daily practices and work to really embody themselves. They're stuck up in their heads and they don't know how to get out of their head space. They're just going through the motions with their guy. They're in a relationship that they don't want to be in and they don't know how to get out of it, so they're leading the man on. And that's the sad truth of a lot of different things, which is really why I believe that this time phase that we're in is going to bring about a lot of divorce. But you know, in this moment, for all you gents out there who really do have a woman that you love, who you do want to make her happy, you do want to show that you are the man, that you choose her, and you choose her first, then the space to really focus in on is understanding that this is not sex. Your sex and her sex are polar opposite. Okay, you're not going to ever fully understand what her sex is like. You're not going to fully understand the emotional, mental, physical connection of sex that a woman has. But what you can understand is the value of a good orgasm to her, and that you reap the results and the all of the rewards of her getting that good orgasm consistently, because here's the thing, if you've got like 100 tally marks on your side and she has one on her side, it's not, that's not doing it, okay? That's not doing it. Not at all. That's going to send her down into definitely, you know, an area that you don't want. So what you can understand is you can understand that this right here is valuable. It's extremely valuable. So if you want a happy home, you want a happy family, you want a happy sex life, you want a happy woman that is doing good and lighting up the world the way you know that she can light up the world, doing, you know, enjoying life, is playful and adventurous, looks younger than her years, is healthy physically, healthy emotionally, healthy mentally, take this video into account and take the articles that I am sharing this week into account, because this week is kind of like going to the University of Female Orgasm for all you gentlemen out there. And if you can just take what I've shared over the course of this week, and will continue to share over the course of this week, and start to apply it, I promise you that your life with a woman is going to be significantly more pleasurable, more deep, and far more happy. On that note, look for I have a free group that I put together last week called Confessions of a Sex Coach, where I will be giving a weekly confessional, I guess you could say, in there. We're talking about my own sex, about things that I've learned, about my own challenges, all that kind of stuff. It is something that I'm not going to be sharing anywhere else. You're not going to find this on my YouTube channel. You're not going to find it on my regular, you know, live streams here on my coaching page or on my profile. You're not going to find it in a program anywhere. This is just the confessionals just for this group. It's not popping up anywhere else. It is a free group, so make sure that you go explore it, sign up for it, and get in there so that you can learn some of the juicy details of some of the real world things as I share them with you, very focused in on sex. As always, everybody, stop accepting average and ordinary in your bedroom, in your life, with your health, or with your wealth. You deserve more. You are worthy of so much more. You're worthy of that fuck yes life. I love you guys, and I will catch you tomorrow with another Conscious Coffee.